You're strapped in, every muscle tense, and you can feel your heart pounding in your ears. The entire ship shudders violently, as if it might tear itself apart at any second. You grip the armrest so tightly, it's turning your knuckles white inside your glove. Take a deep breath. You've trained for this. The cabin lights start to flicker as the captain's voice cuts through the chaos, calling out velocity and altitude.
We've reached entry interface. Altitude 125 kilometers, velocity 5,390 meters per second and decreasing. Atmospheric drag confirmed.
The red planet is pulling you in, relentless and unstoppable. Mars's atmosphere is razor thin, barely thick enough to slow your deadly plunge. Without an atmosphere to cushion your fall, you just plummet, helpless, like a rock falling toward the ground. Every second becomes a battle for survival. You're screaming toward the planet at nearly 20,000 kilometers per hour as the thin Martian atmosphere whips around the heat shield. Friction builds and the exterior starts glowing orange hot.
We're entering peak heating. Thermal shields holding. All systems remain nominal.
As you glance out the viewport, you see the red landscape stretching out in every direction. Rocky, dusty, barren. The uneven atmosphere creates heavy turbulence, causing the spacecraft to rattle and vibrate. The force slams you back, harness biting into your chest. It's as if Mars itself is trying to keep you out. Now comes the next step, slowing down enough to land, not crash.
Parachute deployment in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
The parachute deploys, a giant supersonic canopy designed to work in Mars's incredibly thin air. It opens with a jolt, but it only slows you down to a few hundred kilometers per hour. That's still way too fast to land safely.
Velocity now below 2,000 meters per second. Landing thrusters armed.
The retro rockets kick in, downward-pointed thrusters fire in perfect synchronization to slow you down to just a few meters per second.
Terminal descent initiated.
Dust kicks up from the surface, and then impact. The jolt rips through your spine, teeth clenching. Outside, dust explodes in a blinding, blood-red cloud. For a heartbeat, you fear the worst, but the landing gear holds and your systems stabilize. The silence that follows is absolute, deafening, suffocating.
Touchdown confirmed. Welcome to Mars.
You've survived the impossible, because you have arrived on Mars. Inside your suit, the steady sound of your own breathing fills your ears, a constant reminder of the technology keeping you alive. For now, this is the only sound you'll hear out here, because with so little air to carry it, there's barely any sound at all. You move through the airlock, gloved hands searching for the release. The outer hatch opens with a quiet creak. You quickly notice the environment is not particularly warm or inviting. You feel the dry, brittle soil crunch beneath your boots, a ground untouched by rain for billions of years. Walking across the fine, powdery dust, you notice the gravity is much weaker here. It's only about a third of what you know from Earth, and almost feels as if you are moving underwater, which is both exciting and strangely unfamiliar. You're suddenly struggling to breathe. The suit felt fine at first, but now every inhale feels shallow, tight. It's like the air isn't real. You start to panic. Maybe the system isn't working right. Is something wrong with the suit? Would it really be that bad to take it off? Your hands hover near the seal. Just one deep breath of real air. That's all you want. Well, taking it off is not going to help you with that. That shaky inhale you just took? Yeah. That was probably your last. Out here, the pressure is so low it's almost non-existent, less than 1% of what you're used to. If you removed your helmet, the seal would break instantly.
Warning, helmet breach detected.
Your saliva would start to boil. So would the fluids in your eyes, your mouth, and just beneath your skin. Not from heat, but because in such low pressure, liquids can't stay liquid.
Immediate reseal advised.
You wouldn't be able to breathe. The air in your lungs would rush out violently, followed by a rapid loss of consciousness from lack of oxygen. Your vision might blur. You could feel a burning in your eyes and chest, or a strange tightness in your skin as tiny bubbles of gas form beneath it. You'd have about 10 to 15 seconds before you black out, just enough time to realise something is very wrong, but not enough to stop it. There's no screaming, no struggle, just silence. And then, nothing. Well, that was quick. It's midday inside the habitat. Outside, the sun is out, but the sky is not blue. It's a dull, washed-out yellow. Mars's thin atmosphere, filled with fine dust, changes the way light scatters. Earlier, you spent hours outside, checking systems and deploying sensors. These are routine tasks, but out here, nothing is simple. The tasks took longer than they should have. Working in the suit always slows you down, but you should be heading back. Mars isn't a place you can linger. You have to be careful. You know this. Dust storms can kick up suddenly. Clouds of fine particles whipped by fierce winds. They don't just block the sun, they can clog your suit's seals, damage equipment, and make the air toxic. That's why you're heading back now, moving carefully in your pressurized suit that's heavy and stiff. Thick gloves make it hard to grip tools, and every step feels slow and deliberate. You can't rush. A mistake could be deadly. Back inside, you immediately begin the decontamination process to remove the fine Martian dust clinging to your suit. Powerful air jets and vibrations shake loose the dust, which contains toxic chemicals called perchlorates. If they get inside, they could poison you or ruin the habitat. Only after thorough cleaning do you remove your suit. Finally, breathing freely without a helmet. Take a breath of the filtered air. The habitat is small, clean, and efficient, built for survival, not comfort. The hum of life support systems fills the air. Fans, filters, water recyclers, all running constantly. If any of these fail, you don't survive. You sit for a while, listening to the gentle hum of the machines around you, watching your breath briefly cloud the air. Every sound reminds you how fragile your life here really is. Every resource here is recycled. The air you breathe, the water you drink, even your waste is processed and reused to make sure nothing is wasted. You spend some time logging the day's data, sensor readings, environment stats, and check your own vitals. Physically, you're doing well, so far. But the long-term effects of living on this planet are no joke. The lower gravity is already starting to affect your bones, so you make sure to take your supplements and stick to your daily resistance exercise routine. Meals are simple, mostly rehydrated or pre-packaged food with a few fresh vegetables from the greenhouse. The flavours are familiar, though a bit muted. There's little variety, but you don't care. You eat to survive. You notice small physical changes, like drier skin, and your muscles move differently in the low gravity. Your body is adapting, whether you like it or not. Outside, temperatures drop quickly after sunset. Mars can lose more than 38 degrees Celsius as soon as the sun goes down. If you were outside now, your suit would stiffen, tools might become brittle or lose power, making each movement a little slower and more deliberate. Lying in your bunk, you look up at the ceiling, knowing that only a few layers of metal, plastic, and insulation separate you from a planet that's never known life. Outside, there is no rain, there are no trees, no birdsong, no wind that wasn't born from a fan. Even Antarctica has birds, and a way back. Here, there is no return. Not yet. But it's quiet, controlled. Every system running means one more day of making this work. One more day proving it's possible. And the quiet conviction that you're part of something bigger, the first heartbeat of a new world. You imagine a future where Mars isn't just a research station, but a home. And perhaps one day, children will be born beneath this alien sky, growing up as true natives rather than Earthlings. And maybe, one day, life on Mars will feel just as normal as life on Earth once did.